Good evening and welcome to the Kim B. Davis Show. I'm your host, Kim B. Davis, and this evening we have one of our favorite guests with us. We have Mr. Eric Harp, our certified professional fitness trainer and educator. And yes, guys, we're going to talk current events tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about fitness because we all need a little mental break to take us away from some of this madness. But good evening and welcome to the show, Mr. Harp. How are you?
Oh, Mrs. Davis, it's always a pleasure being here. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for being here. Okay, so we just got to start right from the top. The presidential election has happened.
Ooh, wait. Mm.
And let me just say, I'm not surprised. I was disappointed, but I wasn't surprised. And I'm afraid for the first time in my life. I am afraid. I am afraid to go places because of all the things that are coming out in Columbus, Ohio over the weekend. You had the Proud Boys marching, talking about white power and bleep the N words and this and that. And one video I saw, some brother said, "Come back here at night," and he told this one young brother, he said, "Don't mess with them. They got guns." And I'm like, we just talked about something I saw on social media where a young boy, a second grader, was hung in a bathroom by a fourth grader. We have had instances of things said to African Americans since we've been on this in this country since 1619. We know that. But some of us thought that things had progressed. Civil Rights Act had passed, women made progress. We thought that the society was integrated. And then on that fine day in 2008, we elected our first Black president in President Barack Obama. But we don't understand that this is um, a response to that, and it's negative. And so everybody I talk to says to me that this incoming president is a reflection of everything that is the opposite of President Obama. And from 34 convictions, he's a felon, an adjudicated rapist, a con man, a grifter. His children made X amount of dollars from the Saudi Arabian government when they were working in the United States government, Mr. Herb. I could go on and on. He still has
Good.
cases pending across the United States, which are probably at this point going to be paused for the duration of his presidency. If we if he gets out in 4 years, I don't see it because my thoughts are America wanted a king. This is their king. Mr. Harp, I've given you some thoughts. I don't know how you feel. I am on fire, but I'm on fire because I believe in the Department of Education. I believe in the Justice Department. I do believe in law and order, but I don't believe in law and order for just some people. I believe in law and order for everybody. That means when crazy people come after Black folks with a big B, meaning us, and harass us, stalk us, intimidate us, do all kinds of things, I know that I can pick up the phone and call the police and somebody will answer and someone will come to my aid. I can't say after January 20th, 2025 that that will be the case because of this president that is coming in. And that scares me. It scares me for my children. It scares me for my husband. Go ahead, Mr. Hurt.
Yeah. I mean, that was a very well said. Listen, we've been hoodwinked.
Mm-hmm.
We've been hoodwinked. And I mean, you got a snake oil salesman that got through again.
Yes.
Um, my take on it is that there were so many people that didn't vote.
Yes.
Um, for this kind of landslide or what have you, this is a reflection of those who didn't vote. The confusion was out there,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, I hear a lot of people saying it was her fault for, or the Democrats' fault for, um, identity politics, for trying to label um, our new president as a fascist and a Nazi.
Mm-hmm.
Yet I remember coming from the other side, from the
Absolutely.
Republicans
Mm-hmm.
labeling her a fascist and a
Mm-hmm.
Nazi.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but also the gender politics,
Yes.
you
Yes.
know, to insinuate that a woman can't do it, to insinuate that she was stupid, to
Mm-hmm.
insinuate she wasn't smart enough to handle it. Uh, and, along with all the attack ads about transgenders getting sex change operations and yada, yada, yada.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's what I remember with the identity politics. But then again, I'm not surprised either, because the people that lob those type of insults are also the ones that look past the criminal records, that look
Correct.
past the convictions. So I can't expect everybody to be in their right mind. In fact, I'm pretty sure that there's most of us not.
Mm-hmm.
But be that as it may, we have what we have. And now that we have it, I can't believe that there's people who don't think that what he said is what he's going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Even when he doubled down on it and said, this is what I'm going to do.
Mm-hmm.
You have so many people saying, I don't believe it. It can't happen. But now we wake up to the reality of these cabinet picks.
Right.
So you have television personalities all live in the
Mm-hmm.
cabinet now.
Mm-hmm.
You got Dr. Oz.
Medicare over Medicare and Medicare and Medicaid, I believe.
Mhm,
Linda
mhm.
McMahon
Linda
for
McMahon.
I think it's the Department of Transportation. I said, this
Mhm.
is the wife of the wrestling CEO. Okay.
So again, what you have Matt Gaetz
Yes.
coming in from the Senate.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what we also learn as these people who are coming in is they're bringing in their legal troubles,
Mm-hmm.
um, and they seem to be of the same ilk. Uh,
Absolutely.
what we have is molesting women. Now we have underage women.
Mm-hmm.
We have a report that should be somewhat on its way out of public information about this man.
Yep.
While they have to go back and vote, while the Senate, if anyone's not familiar with the process, the Senate has to confirm
Mm-hmm.
these elections. Now they're trying to backdoor away and have recess appointments, so they can go ahead and just put Congress on recess, sneak the people in, and then call
Right.
the Congress back to session.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these are things that right now are happening, and the man has not even been sworn in.
Not at all.
So the systematic thing, Trump's a figurehead. I didn't mean to say his name, but that man's a figurehead.
Absolutely.
And the
His
people who are going to be in those departments are figureheads. They're just the ones who show nice on television while all calamity is happening behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
You have Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. You know what's interesting? What's interesting to me is, where's Tim Scott?
Right. And the
Where's
other
Tim
guy.
Scott?
We're in the other guy.
So these loyalists of Trump, where are they?
Because Elon Musk is at every meeting. Elon Musk is sitting in on meetings with him and Putin. And I'm like, okay, make this make sense.
Well, Tim
What
Scott doesn't have the deep pockets.
it,
He brought in a section of the vote, but he doesn't have deep pockets.
right.
And all the people that were expecting the economy to get back to where it is or to where it was,
Mm-hmm.
it's not going to happen.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Tariffs aren't going to do a thing. And, again, these are just pretty words that were put out in the campaign. So
And
now,
Mr. Hart, please explain what a tariff is. Because every time I say this, I'm like, all right, class, today's word of the day is tariff. Do you
well,
understand what a tariff is?
people try to equate a tariff with a tax.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, if that's the best way you can put it, then go ahead and you're going to tax the stuff that's coming in.
Right.
You're going to put a heavy tax on the things that's coming in. But since you bought it anyway, you got to sell it. And now they got to
Exactly.
sell it. Then they got to sell it here in the United States. And once they
Mm.
do, they're going to raise the price on what they sell it for.
Mhm.
So there's really no win. There's really no win here because, you got to recoup the money you spent, even though you got it on the deal.
Right. Right. Well,
So,
I love it that and I'm being sarcastic as I say this because it's unfortunate. We're starting to see some of the effects where some companies are telling there was a company out east that said there won't be any bonuses this year because now we have to configure tariffs into our budget. And so the employees were like, "Wait, wait, wait, what?" And they're like, "Sorry, no bonuses." Other people are being laid off because they're like, "Tariffs are coming. We have to account for that. We're laying people off." And now people are saying, I found it hilarious that people were like, "I want to change my vote." I'm like, "This isn't, well, we want ice cream. Do you want chocolate or vanilla?" I want chocolate. Oh, all the chocolate's gone. I changed my vote. I want vanilla. No, this is not that. This was for the president of the United States. I'm sorry.
well, I mean, hey, you are absolutely right. You know, and I'm sarcastic too, but I'm just waiting for the other shoes to drop when Mike
Yes.
Lindell is in the cabinet,
Oh my
and
goodness.
you know, loyal people,
Mm-hmm.
people who will do exactly what they're told.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Pete Hegseth from Fox News,
Who's been charged with sexual assault?
who's been
Just
charged with sexual assault himself. So,
Just like Matt Gaetz and the incoming president.
so, so that seems to be the prerequisite to get a job in the cabinet is to have a little sexual assault crime.
I guess
You know?
so. I
And
guess so.
it's horrible to say
It is.
because this man he told women that he's going to protect you no matter what.
He's going to assault you. That's the
You know?
protection.
So you know we have no idea what we're in for, um, but it's not going to be good.
No, not at
Okay,
all.
and whether this 78-year-old man makes it through the 4 years, he's setting policies now. He's going to set policies for the next people to come in and follow the exact same blueprint.
And JD
So,
Vance is even scarier than he is.
well, and not just him, but Vivek
Mm-hmm.
Ramaswamy,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Elon Musk.
Mm-hmm.
These people who are putting their footholds in the mechanisms of government. So now you have no idea how they're going to change things.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have someone like the Attorney General who's going to oversee the Justice Department, you know, it's ridiculous.
Right.
You know, because now we talk about judges, and now
Mm-hmm.
we're going to talk about lifetime judges, and the lifetime
Mm-hmm.
judges are going to get younger, and the
Mm-hmm.
senators are going to get younger,
Yep.
and
Mm-hmm.
the reps are going to get younger, and
Mm-hmm.
now you're going to be able to do this, whatever it is that they're doing, for a long time. You
Right.
know, so our generation, we're going to feel it, but it's the next generations to come.
Yeah.
So all of these pro-life advocates who are trying to flood the world with babies are going to
That
really have a hard time.
this is true. And for everyone who says, but saving a child's life is absolutely a great thing to do. I'm not advocating for or against. However, I will add this. If you are going to be pro-life, then you have to care about that child after it comes out of the womb. That means you got to provide health care for that child. You have to provide food. You need to be able to provide shelter and all the things that go with that. Don't just sit there and say, oh, okay, well, now the baby's here. Oh, you are a terrible person because you had this child. This is your fault. Now you got to deal with it. No, you was just screaming at me talking about something. It was God's will. Guess what? God said, and this is Jesus's words, you will always have the poor with me, poor with you, excuse me, but you will not always have me with you. And so I'm trying to figure out what Bible these people are reading from because they forever quoting that they are Christians and this and that. And I'm like, some of y'all are skipping some stuff and not paying attention.
Of course. I mean, the Bible can and will be used,
Mm-hmm.
to shape whatever opinions and thoughts necessary.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a shame, you
It is.
know,
It is.
which of course is written in the Bible,
Yeah.
that
Mm-hmm.
it would be used this way. I mean, it's not surprising, as you say, this is what's been coming forever.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's just when you see it or
You're like,
signs of it,
wow,
you know,
wow.
it is scary. And it is
Mm-hmm.
scary
Mm-hmm.
because now as you can reach out into the media, you're saying, well, go ahead, um, give up a little bit of your land. Russia only wants a little bit.
Right.
Let's end the war. Just give them a little bit of land. And oh yeah, Israel's going to want to take Gaza, by the way. So
Mm-hmm.
give them Gaza, and let's just let's just peacefully coexist with tyrants.
So I want to pivot a little bit because I thought
But
this was interesting. The Dearborn community was very heavily pro-Trump. Now that the cabinet picks are out, they're like, wait a minute, we were lied to. I said, oh, you were lied to? Didn't somebody explain that to you before? Oh, you didn't listen because you didn't believe them. Oh, okay. Go ahead, Mr. Herb. I'm sorry.
bamboozled. We've been bamboozled. you know, how could you not forget the Muslim ban?
Thank you. The crap hole countries, but he didn't use the
You
word crap. Remember,
how could
as you
you?
said,
Yeah.
he had the ban. He was like, "We don't want people from your countries." I'm like, oh, okay. Why are we supporting this man?
And we went from Mexico to Puerto Rico. So I'm saying all Latinos. We're not talking about just Hispanics. We talk about
Mm-hmm.
all Latinos now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
yet, yet you reach out into the media and you hear about a wave of Latino support.
Right. But now
You
he's
hear
talking about
about
deportations. I'm like,
now it's talking about immediate deportation.
mm-hmm.
So what we're going to see as soon as January comes is, all hell's going to break loose.
It is. It is.
And it's not a metaphor any longer.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
It is now going to be a whole lot of woe and misery. It January 2025 is not going to look good. No,
Nah.
2025 is not going to look good.
Mm-mm.
Because once they get these machines in place to start running, all people of color,
Right.
and not
Mm-hmm.
just people of color. We're talking
Right.
low income anyone.
Mm-hmm.
You
You don't have
know,
the money, it's a wrap. This is,
if you
and
don't
this
have the money,
really
it's a
isn't
wrap.
about ethnicity or the people's skin color. This is
Mhm.
about class. You know, if you pay attention, all these people from Elon Musk to the Vivek Ramaswamy guy to all these people, they are all millionaires. Some
Yep.
are billionaires, like legitimate billionaires. I'm not talking about the incoming president, who I believe is a fraud, but some of these people are legitimate billionaires. You know, and I said this to someone, Mr. Hart, there used to be a time that when people had money like that, they did a project. I want to leave a legacy. I'm going to build a railroad across this country, or I'm going to build a hospital that's going to take care of people. I want those people to come back because these
Well,
people who are trying to remake the country and tear down every institution and protection that we have because you want to start over, go find your own country.
well, listen, won't be any virtual doctors.
Nope.
You know,
Nope.
you
That's
can you can
gone.
do you can do many things online, but you can't go see a doctor.
Nope.
And you can have a consultation with a doctor, but you need to get those knees knocked with that little thing to make your legs, the reflex machine.
Mm.
You're gonna need the doctor,
Yep.
to shine a light down your throat while you say ah. You're gonna
Mm-hmm.
need a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so age comes to us all,
Mm-hmm.
sickness comes to us all,
Mm-hmm.
um, and so the healthcare, trying to gut the healthcare is really going to be a situation. Um,
Yes.
See, if we ever go back into the pre-existing conditions phase,
And we are. That's it's
then
scary.
it's a wrap.
Yep.
So to try to dismantle all the protections of the Affordable Care Act, or
Mm-hmm.
Obamacare as it's called,
Right.
to try to dismantle all of that, to try to take away Social Security, to
Mm-hmm.
dismantle the Department of Education. I mean, these are life pillars.
Yeah.
Um, these are pillars of our society.
Mm-hmm.
This
Mm-hmm.
is what all of us have to go through. So
Mm-hmm.
anyone who comes into the country has to learn. We have to go
Right.
to school, become English learners. Those who are born here have to become English learners.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
Whatever America was leading on, we don't seem to be leading on anymore.
We are not leading on education. That we're not.
No,
That
not at all.
is China, Japan, I believe it's a couple European countries, and it might be like Denmark and Sweden in terms of literacy. Math and technology like STEM, I think that's China and Japan are leading on that. But it may be India.
America's not number one.
No,
America's not
not at
number one.
all.
Now, if we're
Mm-mm.
in the top, even if we're in the top five,
Right.
what we're trying to do is to gut the
Mhm.
procedures,
Mhm.
to gut the programs, and of course, it's a money thing.
Mhm.
So when you're looking at budgets and we're looking at public schools, those who go to public schools are not just economically disadvantaged.
Nope.
Having a private school is not uh, just because your parents can afford it doesn't necessarily make it a top level school.
Absolutely.
Uh, and some of the public schools, especially around where we are right now, we produce some
Mhm.
highly educated college ready individuals.
Absolutely. We have two of the top high schools in the nation in
Yes, we do.
Detroit.
Yes, we do. No, and 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 a few more that just scratching the list.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, uh, what we have with the school of choice, and that's fine. Going to charter schools and going to school of choice is fine, but the public schools are very necessary.
Yeah.
And to try to cut them in the budgets and the to separate folks by the race, the gender, the economic disadvantages, and who gets free lunches and who can afford to purchase lunches. And that's not. I mean, it doesn't have to be gutted,
Right.
right? Because now
But
what you're going to have people lose a lot on education, and our incoming
mhm.
president is not the smartest one. This is
Not
not
at
the
all.
smartest one in the box either.
Not at all.
Uh,
And you know what's interesting about the Department of Education, they handle kids with disabilities. So if you have a child that is autistic or is on the spectrum and they have what's called an IEP, and you can explain that a
mhm.
little bit better, but I believe it's an individualized education plan. Is that correct, Mr. Hart?
That's correct. That's correct.
So that is the plan that helps your child succeed in school. The Department of Education is what governs that. The Department of Education is what ensures that if a student is struggling with housing, that they are allowed to go to school. In many school districts, and I know this because I worked in what we call our Southwest Detroit area, which is predominantly Latino Hispanic community, but there are different populations there. And a lot of the community groups that were working with the schools, one of the things they said, these kids in the summertime have no opportunities to eat. They have no place to go because many are struggling with instability in their families and housing. Had no idea, Mr. Hart. And I started going to these different community events, and some of these kids were like, "This is the only meal I have all day." And this is summer. This isn't my mama put me outside like our parents did and said, "Here, here's some bowl of cereal, have some cereal, or here's some breakfast, have some, and don't come back in until
Till the
lunchtime."
street lights come, yeah, or
Right,
when
or
the
until
street
the
lights
street
come
lights
on.
come on.
Nah,
No, this is
yeah.
different. They don't have anything at all.
Well, it's a different time,
Mhm.
especially when you have single parenthood, um,
Mhm.
parents living, or parents working two jobs,
Mhm.
or children living with elderly family members. Um, Unfortunately, these are the situation that a lot of children find themselves in. No fault of their own.
Right.
It's just situations that they find themselves in, and this is what the Department of Education and other social services provide. So in the summertime, it's difficult. It's difficult to track, to keep, for whatever reasons that children might be in those situations. Now, we do the best we can in the school systems. We're providing meals. We're providing homework, tutoring assistance.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we're providing transportation to and from the school. Um, and for that 9 month period, there's somewhat of an alleviation of the problem.
You're right.
But again, when you coming into the summer or the off months, now this is part of why the pro life community needs to really understand that it is from birth until adulthood,
You're right.
because there has to be not only funding and financial assistance, but there also has to be some vocational training
Mm-hmm.
to make these children and young adults viable for the world that they're entering, for the workforce that they're entering. And
Mm-hmm.
so to make and give everyone an equal playing field is all that the American dream should be about.
Absolutely.
Now, unfortunately, when you're dealing with a lot of the aristocrats and business leaders of our time, that's not really important.
Mm-hmm.
No. But these things, it's nothing new, and there's nothing new under the sun. You
It's
know,
not. It's
if
not.
we haven't experienced it, we read about it. If we haven't
Right.
read about it, we saw it in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, the movies lead, and then life tries to dictate.
Right.
So what we have with all the Autobots and the automatic driven cars and all of these things that a man like Elon Musk has brought to the forefront. You
Mm-hmm.
know, he even sent one of his rockets to go up and rescue a couple of stranded astronauts.
Right.
So he's tied into the government, has been tied into the government, but
Mm-hmm.
now,
Mm-hmm.
but now he gets to go ahead and stick his toes in the deep water,
Right.
and now he's rolling with the incoming president, and so things will definitely skew his way.
Yeah.
So he will get more government contracts, he'll get more approvals, he'll get more a lot of things. And so people like him, um, and others, and of course there are others. But then you have some of the rich people like a Mark Cuban who are not on the
Mm-hmm.
bandwagon. And so
Absolutely.
he has
Yeah.
a lot of rich friends too. You have the
Mm-hmm.
Wall Street Journal owners and editors who are not with him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely going to be a battle. And when the rich people start battling, then we'll see what the fallout is.
Right. Right. So we got to switch gears a little bit because
Okay.
there's this weather phenomenon that's happening in one of your favorite states. And I was
Okay.
reading about it. That's the bomb cyclone. Did you hear about that happening in California?
Explain it.
700. So 700,000 people are currently without power right now. They said this particular storm, they call it a bomb cyclone because it's one in a generation storm. It mimics a hurricane, but it
Mm,
is a powerful storm that has dumped lots of water. So essentially, a hurricane hit California or the West Coast of the United States and has dumped water everywhere.
mm,
And so they have what they are calling a bomb cyclone. It is 700,000 people without power. So earlier, this is November. So what was it? August, September, we were going through back-to-back hurricanes, and in October with Florida. So my question will be when the incoming president comes in, because that was one of the things they talked about in terms of giving aid to communities when natural disasters happen. Because remember, these are people that do not believe in climate change. They don't believe that you got to have legislation to have clean water. They don't believe that you got to have legislation to not pour chemicals in the ground or pollute the air. It's, you just better figure it out. We trying to make money. And however we make money, and if you catch cancer, diseases, or whatever, oh well, we don't care. Um, I find it interesting. I'm waiting to see what the response will be. Now, of course, President Biden is still president for a few more weeks. And so this should still fall underneath him. However, if this lasts where the reaction lasts beyond President Biden's administration past January 20th, it will be interesting to see what this
But
incoming
let me
president
add,
does. Mhm.
let me add, um, California does struggle with a
Yes.
lot of different weather phenomena.
Mhm.
However, the current governor of California and our new incoming president have never really gotten along.
Nope, not at
And
all.
I remember a speech that he gave in Upper California about wildfire season, and he said something to Gavin Newsom about see if you get your water, your precious water, when you have those wildfires,
Wow.
um, referring to some FEMA help
Mhm.
based on some kind of disagreement that they had.
Mhm.
And so it'd be interesting to see what FEMA would do under that particular administration. But
Mhm.
since it's happening at the moment, I definitely would assume that it will fall under the Biden administration's FEMA response team.
Right.
And and hopefully they won't get raked over the coals in the media like the response in the hurricanes in Florida
Mhm.
or in
Mhm.
North Carolina, when
Mhm.
during the campaign it was alleged that there was
Right.
no help that made it there. And
Right.
so when the people on the ground said there was help made it there. So,
Mhm.
the media campaigns can be very tricky.
Yeah.
And but my hopes is that during this administration to be taken up, tidied up, and let's just see what the new one brings.
Mhm.
That's all we can do.
Right.
We can hope upon hope, we can fight upon fight, but we don't vote for another 2 years.
This
So
is true.
we don't have another election until it's time to vote for the new Congress, and then another 2 years after that, and
Mhm.
we'll see what we have going. Um,
Right.
who steps up to run against this madness? Because the train is back.
Mhm.
Once the people are put into place who have no experience,
Right.
and all they're going to do is talk to more people with no experience, and listen, it's really no words. It's really no
It's not.
words other than to try to criticize what's going on, and that can be done from here to eternity. But once they either get sworn in or um, for some odd reason uh, moved on and find another pick. So until then, all we can do is just marvel at the current picks and the current thought process, and hope upon hope that we don't get as bad as it should get, or as we think it's going to get.
Mhm. That is true, Mr. Harp. So before we move into our fitness topic, the Ukrainian war is still on, and you mentioned that, there has been an offer floated that just give a piece of land. I don't know where that's going to go. Gaza, those people who are impacted, not sure what's going to happen with them either. Of course, we send our thoughts and prayers to both, but it is an interesting time. I'll say that. It is an
And everybody's
interesting.
waiting. Everybody's on pins and needles, trying to
Mhm,
figure out what's the president now going to do on the way out, and what's the new president going to do on the way in.
mhm, mhm. So, after this interesting conversation where some people may feel, anxious, some people may be angry, some people may feel sad and depressed, what benefits does exercise give us to help regulate our emotions, Mr. Hart?
Listen, it's definitely a release. All right, the endorphins that you'll get from working out is definitely a release. Catch your breath at the end of it and just let it all out. Sweat it out. For those of you who like to get in the hot tubs and get in there and just relax and just breathe. Take deep breaths and just let it out. There's nothing we can do about the external forces that are going on right now. So what we can try to do is to just relax, calm ourselves down, find our center, and breathe. All right. Just sit down, relax, and take a deep breath for now. Now, when it's time to get up, get moving, get that heart rate going. As I said, we got to move, got to get up, go for a walk, go for a jog. Some of us have some real nice weather still going. So get up, get out there and move around. In those with young children, get up, walk around. Grandparents, get out there and walk around with your children. Just move. Now, if you want to really ramp it up, hit a gym, find a personal trainer and get through an exercise. But we got to do something. All right.
We do.
This is that holiday season. So for a lot of people, this is that time when they start to restock and to get ready and prepare for the new year. Happens all the time where we start to look for gyms and we start to find a fitness plan. My advice is just to stick with it. What we come up on, just stick with it. Oh, we're going to come across Thanksgiving. It's eat time. It's, enjoy yourselves. Don't overdo it, but enjoy yourselves. Enjoy the family time. Enjoy the time that you can spend with your loved ones. But when it's all said and done, November 26th, get up and get out. Hit that gym. Go for a walk. Some of us who have to go back to work, find a spot to go to after work and just bring it down. Get that heart rate moving and then just breathe. Settle down and get ready for the new year's. Nothing big that's going to have to happen towards the end of the year. Just go ahead and breathe. Now, there's a lot of us who do move. There's a lot of us who have a routine. Stick with your routines. Stick with your routines because the new year's coming, and for all of us, it's a time to restock, reevaluate, and to make a plan. So as we make our plans for how we're going to find a gym, how we're going to lose weight, if weight is an issue, nothing happens overnight. So you're going to have to take a little time. So get your plan together, get your meal plans together, and enjoy yourselves for the holidays and stick with it for 2025.
That is a great way to end our podcast, Mr. Harp. Thank you so much for being here and breaking down current events and giving us some great fitness advice to help take us through the holidays and into 2025. And yes, can you believe it? It is the end of the year, Mr. Harp.
As it always is. Yes,
I
indeed.
know. This is November. We have one more month, December. So we can't wait to see you, to have a great end of the year show. And then we'll kick it back up in 2025.
Listen, the world won't stop. And so we'll find some new things to talk about. I wish you peace and blessings. Enjoy the holiday season coming up to you and your family. So thanks for having me tonight.
Thank you. And before we get out of here, Mr. Harp, tell us how we can follow you on social media and tell us how we can reach you.
You can find me, Eric Harp 9 at gmail.com. I'm on your social media as Eric Harp 360 and ESQ 360.
Thank you, Mr. Harp, for being here. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Davis. I'll see y'all next time.
Thank you guys for tuning into the Kim B. Davis Show. You know, you can find me everywhere on social media, and that's on Facebook, X, or Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, everywhere on at art, and now on Fanbase and Spill. I'm on a couple another new platforms. So look for me. It's always Kimberly Batchelor Davis. Bachelor is spelled BATCHELOR. If you'd like to see this show, you can check out youtube.com/Kimberly Batchelor Davis. If you'd like to listen to the show, check out Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, Google, and Wisdom. To learn more about me as an author, visit kimbdavis.com. If you'd like to send me an email, you can reach out to me at Kimberly, KIMBERLY, at KimberlyBatchelorDavis.com. Thank you again for tuning in. I hope you'll join us on our next episode. And as always, remember, be magnificent.